Hello, once again, everybody. I'm Mr. Coleman. I hope you all are having another fantastic day. It is Tuesday, and yesterday we talked about pretty much what the Roman Empire is, and today we're going to talk about how the Roman Empire has fallen. Our learning objective for today I will discuss some of the things that contributed to how Rome fell apart, so I can understand the events that led to the destruction of an empire that was once great. I know I have it when I can tell the world how great it is to continue to learn new things.
From the Colosseum to the ancient Forum, Rome is known for its beautiful relics from a lost empire. Among the ruins of columns and statues, one can still see the influence of Rome's first emperor, Augustus. Augustus ruled for 44 years, and his reign began an era of peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. When Augustus came to power, he was 19 years old and still known as Octavian. It was 44 BC, a time of civil strife in Rome. Octavian's great-uncle, Julius Caesar, was murdered by members of the Roman Senate who opposed his attempts to reform the government. Taking command of Caesar's army, Octavian joined forces with Caesar's chief general, Mark Antony, and together their armies hunted down Caesar's assassins. Octavian and Antony shared power in Rome, but soon quarreled. At the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, Octavian defeated Antony and his powerful ally, Queen Cleopatra of Egypt. In 27 BC, as a reward for his victory, the Senate gave Octavian the name Augustus, Exalted One, and the title of Princeps, or First Citizen. With time, the importance of the Senate decreased. Augustus not only brought an end to the era of the Republic, he achieved Caesar's dreams of government reform. According to the historian Suetonius, Augustus said his goal was to establish a stable government. May it be my privilege to have the happiness of establishing the Commonwealth on a firm and stable basis, but only if I may be called the architect of the best possible government. And bear with me the hope when I die that the foundations which I have laid for its future government will stand firm and stable. To govern more efficiently, Augustus created a civil service to enforce the laws. He also encouraged outlying provinces to rule by self-government, freeing his armies to conquer more land and expand the empire. To help the economy and make the tax system fairer, Augustus ordered a census or population count to gain an accurate sense of who was taxed. 4 times I came to the assistance of the treasury with my own money, Augustus said. Under Augustus, writers such as Livy and Tacitus produced their histories of Rome. The poet Virgil wrote the Aeneid, an epic poem that describes the founding of Rome. Artists and sculptors created beautiful mosaics and lifelike statues. Craftsmen and architects erected palaces, temples, and large public amphitheaters, and improved entertainment venues such as the Circus Maximus. Noting his accomplishments during the Pax Romana, Augustus wrote, "I found Rome a city of bricks and left it a city of marble."
Now, as we look at this picture, there's a few things I want you to understand. So, today we're going to understand how Rome has fallen, and it comes down to understand what it takes to run a country. Things such as maintaining wages and taxes, running an honest government, and keeping control of many social problems that may arise. So, all of these things mentioned had an effect on how Rome declined. Because of those issues, Rome decided that they would divide the country into 2 forms of governments because of the increase in violence and the divided empire. It was divided into 2 empires, the Eastern and the Western. The Western Empire did not do very well due to a numerous of attacks. The Eastern Empire survived the attacks, but decided to create a different empire known as the Byzantine, Empire. This empire lasted nearly 1,000 years. All right, so now we're going to talk about a weak Roman government. Poor leaders weakened the government, frequent fights for power, many officials took bribes, and talented people chose not to serve due to dangers of government life. So, to go more into detail, let's talk about some of the issues that Rome has faced. Rome did not do very Rome did not do very well because of a weak government. The leadership was very poor. What I mean by poor is weak-minded. They frequently had fights amongst each other, and because of everyone wanted to be in charge. So it's pretty much like most places we go, like the government. There's always somebody who wants to overtake the government, who always wants to be higher than leadership. So there were so many issues in Rome, like many leaders took bribes. So have you ever heard of the term quid pro quo? So if you give me this, pretty much I'll give you that. So then the people that had many talents chose not to serve on the government due to not wanting to put themselves or their families in danger. Social problems. They did not have the resources or equipment to stop or prevent the spread of plague, which means diseases. Out of every 10 people, at least one have died from those diseases or viruses. Secondly, there was not enough food to feed the people around the country. So poor Romans ate bread, vegetable soup, or porridge. Meat and shellfish was considered a luxury. So unless they lived in the countryside and could go hunting or fishing, they pretty much had to eat what was given to them. So the bread was sometimes dipped in wine and eaten with olives, cheese, and sometimes grapes. All right, so economic problems. Income and wages fall due to inflation and lack of work. So remember that if you were a woman during this time, you were only allowed to care for your family. Many of the men were without work because of their status or injuries from battles. Historians point to internal divisions as well as repeated invasions from tribes such as the Huns and the Visigoths as reasons why the empire fell. So wealthy Romans stopped paying taxes. So pretty much no taxes, no money. Many temples many temples were held in their basements, and the Romans kept their money and treasures there as well. Because they were always occupied by devout workers and priests and regularly patrolled by soldiers, wealthy Romans felt they were safe places to deposit their money. So pretty much, if you think about all the, I don't know if you guys talk to your older grandparents or just older people in general. Like some people just don't like to use banks. They believe that it's very safe for them to store their own money. Dividing the empire. So the empire was to divide it in half and save the empire. They created two empires, like I said in the earlier, the Western Empire, which was in Europe and North Africa, and the Eastern Empire, which was in Turkey and Asia. So in 285 AD, Emperor Diocletian decided that the Roman Empire was too big to manage. So he divided the empire into those two parts, which was the East and the West. And over the next 100 years or so, Rome would be reunited, split into three parts, and split into two back again. So finally, in 395 AD, the empire was split into two for good. The Western Empire was ruled by Rome, and the Eastern Empire was ruled by the Constantinople. Christianity. So Christianity began in the first century AD as a breakaway Jewish sect focused around the spiritual leader Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus was put to death by the Roman provincial government. Followers of Jesus spread Christianity throughout the Roman Empire, but they were persecuted first by the Jewish people. Nero and Christianity made a crime punishable by death.
He leads Rome to its last great triumphs and, for a while, allows the city to relive its old glory days. Constantine the Great, but not for long. A rival, Maxentius, aims to topple Constantine and take his place. Constantine must meet his adversary's challenge. On the eve of a major battle, a miracle happens. According to legend, he has a vision. He sees the heavenly sign of the Lord in the sky. Next morning, he has the sign, the labarum, marked on his soldiers' shields. A secret rite? A spell? In any case, it heightened the zeal of his soldiers, and not only of the Christians among them. Constantine thus became the first Roman ruler to accept the Christians. Bearing the mark of Christ, Constantine's army marches into battle. After 300 years of persecution, Christians are helping Rome to victory, and thus a world religion is born. The battle is decided on the banks of the Tiber. As in the day when Romulus slew Remus, Romans stand against Romans. Another civil war, but this time the Christian God is enlisted. And he triumphs. The would-be usurper is defeated. Constantine is victorious. Constantine founds a new Rome, Constantinople, the new capital, a place the Christians can call home. Yet the Roman Empire's borders are weakening. Due to population pressures, vast swathes of people are on the move across Europe. Because they are Christianized, Germanic peoples are accepted into the empire. The barbarians have arrived. Newcomers flock to the empire from all directions. Caesar had not reckoned with so many. Skirmishes break out as the Germanic tribes fight for the right to settle here. Goths capture the area of land between the old Roman capital and the new, dividing the ancient empire. The Goths introduced their own way of life into the region. All the roads that lead to Rome were of little importance to the new settlers. The two Roman capitals lose their significance. And as they crumble, so do their achievements, all their science, all their culture. In the end, all that is left of Rome are fragments, for thousands of years.
So who is Constantine? Constantine, which was in 312 CE, united the empire again under one ruler. He was the first Christian emperor, and he stopped the persecution of the Christians. So as the first Roman emperor to claim conversion to Christianity, Constantine played an influential role in the proclamation of the Edict of Milan in 313, which decreed tolerance for Christianity in the empire. He called the first council of Nicaea in 325, at which was Nicene Creed was professed by Christians. Rome evaded. So the Western Empire, unable to hold off German tribes on its borders. German tribes wanted warmer area, Roman riches, and to flee the Huns. So marching southwestward under their leader, Alaric, the Visigoths reached Rome in 410 AD and looted the city. So by that time, the German tribes, the Franks, Vandals, and the Burgundians were moving into the empire. So to add to the turmoil, the Huns, led by Attila, had also invaded the empire and were threatening to enslave or destroy both Romans and Germans. So forgetting their own differences for a while, the Romans and Germans united against the common enemy. They fought together in Gaul and defeated Attila. And it was called the Scourge of God at the Battle of Chalons in 451 AD. Shortly afterward, Attila died and his savage cavalry drifted apart. All right, so the fall. Rome was defeated in 476 CE. Western Empire was divided into many kingdoms that adopted many of the customs of Rome. So meanwhile, the power of the emperors in Rome had fallen to a point where they had become merely puppets of the legionaries. many of whom were in German birth. So in 476 AD, Odoacer, a commander of the Roman armies, disposed the last of the Roman emperors and became the first German ruler of Rome. This date, 476 AD, is often cited as the date for the fall of Rome. So, in a strict sense, there was no fall. The decline of Roman imperial power was a gradual and complex process marked by weakening emperors, corrupt bureaucrats, and the gradual admission of German soldiers into legions. So, although the Western Empire fell in 476 CE, the Eastern Roman Empire continued to prosper for 1,000 more years, and they became known as the Byzantine Empire. So, although Western Empire, I'm sorry, it lasted from the fall of the Roman Empire until the Ottoman conquest in 1453. While the Roman Empire's capital was Rome for most of its history, the Byzantine Empire's capital was the Constantinople, which was previously called Byzantium, and today is Istanbul. The capital was well positioned near active trade routes connecting east and west. Constantinople was named after Emperor Constantine the first Byzantine emperor. So, though the situation seemed bleak, the Byzantine Empire survived into the 15th century, undergoing more transformations. However, the empire incurred significant territorial losses, and by the time the Ottomans conquered Constantinople, the Byzantine Empire was little more than Constantinople itself. All right, so what we went over today is we discussed the things that contribute to how Rome fell apart, so we could understand the events that led to the destruction of an empire that was once great. And we know we have it because we can pretty much tell everyone what we learned today and how much Rome has fallen apart. And it's because of the different types of leadership and different people wanting to be in charge. Rome just could not sustain the way they were going. So, for the rest of today, guys, there is an assignment for you guys to do in the Schoology folder. We hope that you guys got something out of this video, and we hope that you all have a good day. Thank you, everyone.